What's up, everyone? Happy New Year. It is the first day of 2026, and me, as well as thousands, if not millions, hundreds of millions of people, I don't know how many, who are out there trying to change, trying to grow, trying to do something, trying to achieve something. I've been doing that. I'm 46 now. I've been doing that since I was probably, the first time I can remember, 17 years old. I was like, I want to change. I want to start something. It's really hard to get to a point in your life where you're like, and I don't know if it's even possible, where you can say, I'm happy with exactly who I am, what I am, how I'm approaching things, how I'm going after things. I'm 100% happy with how it's going. I still believe at my age that it is achievable. Whether or not you've reached your goals, I think it's something to do with falling in line with, or getting in sync with how you feel is your path. You know, whether you're pursuing in the way that you feel comfortable, that you're happy with, that you're laying it all out there, that you can go to bed at night going, I did everything I could. I controlled what I could control, and I gave it 100% effort. That's where I seem to fall short, where I look back and go, you know what, I didn't. I gave into this habit or that, or I put something off, or I gave into the fear of starting this right here. This video that I'm making is years in the making. I've started and stopped and not put things out there. So I want to take this opportunity to see if, one, we can start, and we're here. I'm here right now. I'm starting. But starting is hard. It's harder to find a way to then continue day after day after day. So today, what I want to do is start, and I want to somehow figure out a way to then continue getting to that place where I can say I'm 100% happy with the path that I'm on, with myself, with how I'm affecting the world. And so today I'm going to this is not going to be edited. I'm going to put this out there today. And I'm going to come back tomorrow, and I may shoot this whole thing again. Well, I'm going to put that out as well, and I'm just going to refine, and I'm going to take actions on the things that I come up with here. This channel is for you. If you are anything like me and you've tried to get fit, and maybe you've succeeded for a while, maybe you are, but it's not where you feel you can be. It's not where you're happy with. This channel is for you if you have tried to pursue something with relationships, whether that's with your family or your partner or your kids, and you've not kept up with them in a way that you wanted to. This channel is for you if you are an entrepreneur, and like I am, and you have a business, and you succeed sometimes with massive efforts, and then you fall back to your old habits and you hold yourself back. And then you go forward again, and then you hold yourself back. This channel is for you if you want to figure that out. I'm going to figure it out for myself. I hope you'll join me. I hope through my figuring it out, I can help others. But today, I'm really going to give myself the freedom to just go. I'm going to go take however long I need with this, and it may be slow. I may write some things down just to jog my memory for tomorrow. But from the ground up, I want to figure out how to build systems, how to really change, how to really get yourself to where you're in sync the path that you want to be on, that I want to be on. So with that, let's go. I'm going to just jot down some things. If you stick with this, I promise there will be some value here, but it's going to be a little bit of work because I'm new to this, and I may have some thoughts that I need to change, that I need to wipe out. I'm not going to edit this, so that's it. So the big thing for sure is beginning. I want to write this here. The other thing is I've got this perfectionist thing, right? I just started to write. I wanted to write beginning right there. I was like, that's not right. Beginning should be up in the left corner. Here's the thing. It's like this is something that I've got to figure out. It cannot be perfect. You got to go and then refine. If you think that if you do it wrong in the beginning and then you can't do it because you don't have the answer right away, well, you'll never start. You'll never get anywhere. So beginning is legit, right? So beginning. Okay. Beginning is hard, right? We're beginning today. It's hard. So what can we do? Make it small. Just start. I know that's easy, but it sounds easy, but just do it. Just start. So the continuing, so I'm gonna go back to this because I feel like there's more here and I already feel like, okay, this is stupid. Fuck it. Yeah, we know beginning is hard for a lot of people and they never fucking start. But that's what's happening today, right? It is a beginning. And knowing that I can come back tomorrow and I can refine, and eventually I'm gonna have to take action. It's not just being here and talking about this stuff. But all right, I'm gonna move past this. As I said, it's not gonna be perfect here. In this moment, I am feeling like I'm not qualified to do what I'm doing right now. I'm not qualified, so I'm like, cut that shit out, keep going. Okay, so continuing. How do you continue? Beginning something is like, it's easy because January 1st comes around, the new year, everybody's starting new stuff. On my way in today, I counted like 20 people out running. I'm like, go. But next week, I'm gonna see like 10 on my drive in, and the week after that, I'm gonna see like 5. And the week after that, maybe 1. So how do you continue? So this is one thing that I've been thinking a lot about too, is I think a why, right? Why do anything? I think the thing that I want to try to do is really spend time figuring out my philosophy. So philosophy on life / meaning. Okay, philosophy on life / meaning, like, it's like, for some people, it's religion, it's the bigger question. It's like, all right, this also ties into energy, right? Like, beginning is still hard, but it's one of the easiest things. We can do it when we get enough motivation or energy. We're here right now. Continuing consistently continuing consistently is really difficult. Okay, so we go to why. Why are we doing anything is a big question. But then we need to ask ourselves after the why, what are we doing? So what am I? What is it? So the why and the what. What do you want? And these two are kind of like, I think these two connect. If you really spend some time with why, your philosophy, your belief, where it is right now, maybe it'll change, but like you spend a lot of time with that and know that you can change it. I think this is the thing that we need to focus on. And then this, like really listing out all the things. What? And then listing out the habits, right? So like, the things to do, the actions. The actions that are gonna continually fuel and get you closer to what you want, and that fall in line with this why, because you need fucking energy. You need masses. You need fucking masses of energy. God damn, I need energy. Okay? I need, like again, January 1st, it's easy to be fired up. It's like everything's possible. So I've got that energy, right? I'm like excited. Everybody's off today. So like nobody's bothering me. My phone's not blowing up. Work's kind of on hold. Everybody's off. So I've got that energy, right? I can do this. I'm excited about the possibility of like what this could become. But everybody knows that does not stay. I've got to build some kind of system that connects to my why. Like regularly, I think of this. I understand when I get up in the morning, I'm like, ties in for now. I've chosen to believe something that's going to tap into some serious energy for me. And that is going to allow me to chip away at my actions that I've gone through and set for myself and the habits that I'm trying to build so I can put it on automatic that get me to what I want. The energy is huge. And, you know, for me, it's like, you know, if I think a little bit about the why, you know, it's like, and the energy, I want it to be fun. I don't think everybody's gonna find their own thing. Somebody might really get energized. I can get energized by multiple things. I can get inspired by many things. If I see, you know, somebody do something that's like super honorable, like selfless, I can get extremely moved by that. On the flip side, like if I you know scroll through my phone listening to, you know, politics and each side like demonize the other side, like that takes my energy away. It's not to say that those kinds of things don't have their use maybe in some way for people, but like I gotta limit those things so that I can focus on building up the right kind of energy that I know is going to be able to fuel all this. Because if you want, I know that making major change is going to require a shit ton of energy. So I think that I've got to I gotta list out some of the things. One of them is fun, is just enjoyment. Like I think the fueling that in every way I can is going to, fun is, one thing. I'm curious about what the fuck this is. I mean, this is weird that I have, 5 fingers on this hand or 4 on a thumb, I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? But like, it's weird. It makes me super curious. It's like, what is this? So, that gives me energy, right? If I could find a way day in and day out to find that curiousness, then that's going to fuel me. So I think first is if we're talking about major change of yourself, if I'm talking about not letting go of any of the things that I feel are important, whether that's great relationships with my kids, or my family or my sisters, it's like spending time with them that I haven't, or friends that I've neglected to spend time with that I've wanted to over the years. It's like, how do I get it to where, oh, well, if I'm focusing on this business, then all of those things just take a total backseat. I might not even talk to certain people for a year, 2 years, and then how do I do it where I can understand all the things that are important and chip away in ways that are manageable consistently? But I think that kind of thing is going to be a pretty long list. And remember, I may repeat myself a little bit here. Again, if you stick with this, we're going to find value. We're going to mine the shit out of it, and I'm going to be back tomorrow, and we're going to refine this a little more. So for now, it's going to be a little chaotic, and I think that's branches off to another area that you just have to figure out how to be comfortable with, which I am not. I fucking hate the feeling of like starting something like this and realizing how much it is, because this can branch off a million more ways, and if you really want to do it right, it's going to take that fucking effort and energy. It's fucking hard. It's so fucking hard to get this right. I know it is, and that's why it's like you gotta start small, I guess. I don't even want to start small because it's not exciting, but this is really hard. It's really, really hard. It's why most of us don't make it. We like I said, I'm 46, and it's not like a lot of people would look at my life and go, dude, you've achieved a lot. But that's not how I feel. I know I can do more and be more and contribute more. So if you feel that way, I think you got to go for it. You got to try. You've got to try. It's very hard. And I think most people will end up maybe doing well for themselves, but feeling like this all their lives until they reach a point where they're old and their body maybe shuts them down. They don't have the opportunity. Maybe they're 70, 80, 90, and they have regrets. And I think that there is a way. I truly believe that there is a way to build a good system, to go to bed at the end of the night where you just feel like I'm in sync. I'm in sync with my path that I chose. It may not be perfect. It may end up, there's things out of your control. It may end up horribly anyway, but you're in sync. Or it may end up great. It doesn't matter. It's that you feel you've chosen the things that are important to you. You know they could change. You refine them constantly. and you keep going forward, and you feel in sync, and you feel that you're on the path that you want to be on, and you're happy with it. So I think that is a gauge that we need. Gauge. Maybe we'll build many gauges for different things, but, if it's something like this, like where the gauge, happy with path, life path, where are you on the gauge? I mean, this is a tricky question too, because you don't want to be like, no, I'm not happy with anything, and put yourself here and make yourself feel bad, but truly, if I were to ask myself the important questions, I'm not going to fill mine in just yet, but maybe we'll do that soon. But I think that's going to be informed by, what do you want? What the fuck do you want? What do you really want? Why are you putting forth the effort? And then we go back to our why, right? And that, ultimately, for me, it does become philosophical. It becomes almost spiritual. It's like I want to spend some time with that. So I think we really need, we start with a why. We start with this why. And this I think is going to require each individual, for me, to really spend some time with going, why, the why of why do I move? Why do I do anything? Why move? Why live? And it's basic. Why live? What put this in motion? What set this in motion? What set this in motion? It's like it's like if you were to start a business and you do it based on the things that you enjoy and like and believe in, and you create something that comes from you, and you would choose things, right? Well, we're here and we're just doing shit. So I think at some point in our lives, you got to go, okay, why? And it doesn't have to be right. I think, in fact, for me, we're going to have to do a whole video on a why, and I'll give you an example of, I'm going to go through my own why that fuels me, but I think this is going to be, it's going to be something that it requires the effort, right? It's like, and ultimately, whatever system that's set up, I think the effort into an understanding of your belief I mean, maybe it's like, it's not just a why, it really is your belief, right? It's like, not what somebody else told you, as much as you can reach deep and go, what do I think? Not, of course I'm influenced. We're all we do is intake from the moment we're born. We absorb, but even with all that, observe it, and then really, as much as you can, ask yourself, what do I think about all of this? And how, and really just try to come up with something that makes you feel good. And understand that that's as close as you can get to your belief, right? You're gonna be influenced by things. You're influenced by your parents were influenced by their community. You're influenced by a lot of things, but I think that is super important, and I'll spend the time. I think everyone is going to have to, if they want the proper amount of continual fuel and energy to like really change. It's one of the beginning things that has to be done. It doesn't mean you need to like become religious about it or whatever. You could, maybe that's the thing you need to do, but something that lets you look at the bigger picture. And for me, it has something to do with, for me, my why, my belief, why, something to do with, Socrates and his saying, something like, I know, all I know, nothing. It starts there. It's not true totally. In being a human, there are some things that I do know. I may be wrong about them, but I know some things. But if I can be stripped of everything that I believe, even my belief that I come up with, if I can be okay with it being stripped away or not what I thought, if the veil were to be pulled down, or this veil and then the next and the next, and it was all just like something that I couldn't comprehend, and all wrong, and the purpose or the meaning, something terrible or something that I wouldn't have ever expected, or just incomprehensible, and that would be okay with me, that would be fine, that there would be something that I would, then that's, for me, something that actually fuels me, because there's a strength in that energizes me, that makes me feel like, oh, if I could find that kind of strength, that excites me. That kind of strength where I can push forward, I can think I know certain things at this level, but to know that, like, ultimately everything I think, everything I love, everything could be flipped or stripped or torn away. What's at the core, and the core is something like immortal or eternal or something, that to me is fueling, I think, for now. And that kind of thought process also sets me up in operating in a way that always leaves room for growth, because even if I think I know something, I wouldn't be able to speak if I just operated in a way that I don't know anything. I'd be like, oh, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to do anything. So that's, but I think if I can move forward with a little humility, then it leaves room for growth. So my why starts to get into that belief of, like, but I want to peel those layers back. Something larger that would be incomprehensible to me as a human. But it's very exciting to sort of, for me to look at these things regularly and so that's where I'll go with my why, and I want to try to find more that is, really, that could really fuel me, some purpose, some reason, and maybe that ties into if I can spread, a certain message of certain things, like if I think humility or strength, like a real kind of strength that involves like total vulnerability or stripping of all thoughts and beliefs, then that's a real strength. Those kinds of things fire me up. If I can spread those things, then maybe that's some meaning. If I feel like that actually helps whatever this is, experience whatever this existence is, whatever these all our consciousnesses are, if I can find some things that I go, you know what, me doing this helps make things better, and I'm tying it to these kinds of beliefs that I'm trying to choose, then that comes from me, or it feels like it comes from me. Maybe it's coming from somewhere else through me. I'm not sure, but that gives me energy. And I can even saying it right now to you, it's like I can start to feel that energy. And so we may have covered this enough, but we begin, all right, we're going to change. We're going to continue. We got to find ways to do that. The ways that we can do that is hitting our whys. Once we hit the why, our belief, spend some time on that. We're going to have to go to, what do you want? Okay, I'm just going to hit on some of these things. For me, the first thing that comes to mind is, my family. And it's crazy, how fast it moves with, if you have kids, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you suddenly, feel like you're a young family and then suddenly your kid's like a junior in high school and, they're going to be out of the house in a year and a half. It's like, it's insane how fast that happens. But if you don't have kids, and so all the things, like in that scenario, it's like all the things that you wanted to, like, you've experienced a lot with them, for sure. But like, if there are probably things that you were like, oh my God, I didn't get to do this, or I didn't get to teach them this, or I didn't get to talk with them about this, or I didn't get to learn this about them. And here, I'm going to find out how to stay on top of that wave where I'm never feeling like I missed anything. I know there's a way. I'm not saying everything's going to be hit perfectly, but I know that there's a way to be like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I know most of you feel that way too. So, for me, family, kids, I mean, everybody talks about this, it's like, spend time with your family, life is short, your family's, I don't know what it is about family, some of you might be like, I fucking hate my family, what are you talking about? I mean, of course, there's always going to be people that you don't get along with, and that's going to be another thing we're going to have to figure out, is like, what people drain you, what people give you energy, of course. Choose the people in your family. There's got to be some people in your family that you connect with. Your mother, your father, your aunt, your uncle, your cousins. There's some family that you have that I think is important. Or maybe it's your friends that are your family. Some human connection, that you want to cultivate the relationship and be on top of that wave and be a good supportive human to that other human. For me, one of my highest priorities is just with my family and specifically with my kids, is that I think it's got to be number one, is that I'm there for them. I'm their support. I'm their rock. I'm able to listen. I'm able to grow. I'm like all the things that I want to build, on this channel. It's like I'm able to use and help cultivate that relationship. But what do I want? I want great relationships. What defines a great relationship? It's different for everybody, and that's why I think the gauge is, that the gauge needs to be specific to you. Only you can answer that. Only I can answer what's a great relationship for me, to feel like I'm doing everything I can. I feel that this is in sync. I think the only way for these things to work, though, for me, is to have some kind of philosophy. Because if I'm going to make my relationship with my kid the best it can be, I've got to have some humility. I don't know, for me, I'm just talking for me. If I can't listen, if I can't think, if there's not a part of me that's like, I don't know everything, and I could be wrong about everything. If I can't do that with them, if I can't at least have a little window open there where I'm actually listening, not just trying to force things down their throat, I'm learning from them. If I can't do that, then I can't build a relationship that I want, which is a real back and forth. I want to know them. I want to know who they are at their core. I want to help them understand that they can grow their core, their strength, whatever they choose that to be. So it's gonna tie into, how I get my beliefs. But we're gonna need habits for this. We're gonna need to build systems, habits, and a gauge. So because it's gonna take that kind of work. If I'm gonna have the best possible relationship I can have with my daughter before she leaves the house, and feel like I did everything I could, even if like doing everything I can involves backing off or giving her space or whatever, like that's part of it. But if that's going to happen, it's like anything that you want to succeed at. You gotta build some kind of a system. You gotta have habits that fall in line with the goal that you're trying to reach. So, what do you want? We need to find those, call them goals. We need to define them clearly. Okay, define them clearly. We need to build systems. We need to build habits. Build habits that match, the habits that, habits that if you check those off every day, it's just going to systemize and make easier certain things. Like if I'm trying to make, a connection with my sister, who maybe one of my sisters I don't talk to very often, and that, it's hard to keep that relationship going. Well, if I have a habit that I call her once every 2 weeks and I've got that written down, that's just a step, right? That's just a habit that makes that goal a little easier. So build habits. Same with like getting fit, getting in shape. Like we're gonna have to break all this stuff down. Again, this shit is really hard, and it takes organization and discipline, and it's why I think, I don't know what the percentage would be, but most of us do not get there. I'm staring down things that are like, this is one thing. For me, I have a list of like 45 major things, and that would be like at the top. But I have like 45 major things that all require like big change. That like some of the things that I have I've neglected for years and years because I'm not organized, and I can't, if I go down one path, then I get lost in that path, and I've dropped all these other balls. Again, I'm here to say there's definitely a way to do it. I'm gonna figure it out for myself. Even if it requires, the most tiny of steps. A couple things that I'm certain of are, I'm sure you've heard these things over and over again, but consistency. Consistency is like the one thing that, I've had a huge issue with. I mean, I feel like I've achieved a lot. All the things that I've achieved have come through massive bursts of effort and energy, and dropping a lot of other balls to achieve those things, and really neglecting things, and then making one thing happen. But I think that I'm at a point where I'm like, I want to map it all out. I want to know, okay, these are the things that I care about. I can't drop all of these things. I'm not going to sacrifice time with my kids. I'm going to make sure that's protected. But we got to start from the ground up, and we got to build a foundation, and then slowly, like I've tried stuff like this before, and it will not work. It takes too much energy if you try to do it all at once. But consistency is key. But how do you stay consistent if you've got 45? What do I want? There's 45 things I want to drastically change in my life. If I try to do all those today, I probably won't even make it through. I'll be so mentally drained. I'm physically drained. I will crash for 2 weeks. It's like the slow boil, It's like we've got to map this out and be smart about it. That if start really small with each of these things, but stay consistent, and then build them as we can take it. If we go out and try to run a marathon without any training at all, you might make it through. You're definitely going to be laid up for a week if you've never done any training at all, or maybe you blow out your knee and you're out for 6 weeks. Like, we're not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Consistency. What else is key to sustaining? There's a lot of things I think we can get into But organization, I think organization, reflection, action. You know, there's a danger with action. I mean, that I've experienced with action. It's like, if you don't spend the time on a system, on building something that can give you a compass, you can get lost in action for years. I mean, I'm sure some of you have experienced this. If you don't take the time to go to really ask yourself these questions, you know, what do I believe in? Even if I've said I don't have beliefs, or if you say, like, you know, you have a certain religion, that even if you have all that, if you've got to figure out what your motivation, your underlying beliefs are. Spend time with it. Even if it comes out the same as you thought it was, just you spend the time. That will fuel what you want. It will inform what you want. I mean, having no belief is a belief. So spend time with that. If you have no belief about what this is, spend time with that. Then, what do you want? You got to spend time with that. If you go forward and take massive action without spending time on that, you could get lost for years going down paths that you never really wanted to be in. Choose. You have the choice, no matter where you are. There's also a danger in spending too much time planning. I've definitely fallen for this. Actually, I probably need to take more action on certain things and just go down certain paths. I've been terrified of going down paths that I don't want to be going down. There's a real danger in that. You can plan, you can watch YouTube videos, you can read self-help books and, you know, go to seminars and never actually do anything. I'm sure you guys can relate to that. So there's a huge danger in that. But I think that, so this other stuff, we got to move fast and hard. Remember, we got to stay energized. We got to keep that fucking stratosphere. We need to get into the stratosphere. We gotta burst through. We need rocket fuel. So right now, what's super important, and maybe the biggest takeaway of today, is energy. You gotta keep that fuel right now and then hit the right things. And I'm speaking to myself here, right? This is the where's the energy? Yeah, it's why I circled it. This is the biggest thing. All right? We gotta keep this hot. And anything we can do to keep that hot right now and pour that into this. This is the why. This has gotta be, this may be tomorrow's video. We've got to spend the time on this. And then we got to jump to this, right? And then we've got to jump to goals, systems, habits. And then we got to keep that energy going. And I don't know. It's so fucking hard. It's like we're here today, and we may get here tomorrow. What happens if tomorrow gets super fucking busy and we get hit with certain things? Are we gonna keep this going for the next day or later tomorrow? How do we keep this? How do we get to the next step? Like, how do you keep that energy going? How do you keep your desire to get there? I think you have to want it so bad. You've really. For me, I could let go. I could drop things. I'm in a place in my life where I could probably go, you know what? Let me cut some things. Let me trim down on some expenses. Let me stop pushing so hard. Let me free up time, and let me focus more. Let me focus more on my kids, and then maybe let me downsize a little bit. But am I going to be happy with that when I'm 85 and I'm like, I never did that thing? One of the things in the system that we build, we're going to have to put in like a 2-week refining period where you can't, once the system is built, you got to achieve it. You got to know that we need to keep that energy going to get through those first 2 weeks of habits and systems, not sacrificing anything that's important, like the most important things. And then after 2 weeks, you can change it. You can't make it easier. You can move things around and refine it. Refining the system is going to be really important because inevitably, whatever I build for myself, it's not going to be perfect. And the system has got to be able to refine for that. Otherwise, if we build an imperfect system, which we inevitably will, these next couple weeks, this day one, this next couple weeks, it's not gonna be perfect. And if I try to force that through just for a year, say, no, here's what I said I was gonna do, there's gotta be rules. So, fuck, so much here. We need rules. We need to build rules like, you gotta build the system. We need rules. Build rules. Okay. 2 weeks. We can refine this. 2 weeks then. Refine. I mean, I hate rules, but I think they're necessary. I think some rules and a system and some habits that all tie into what you want, which ties into what you believe, your philosophy is, and then even the philosophy can be refined. Maybe it's a yearly thing. Yearly philosophy. All right, guys. It's going to be it for today. This is a beginning. This is a start. Beginnings are easy. It's a step. If you've started something today, pat yourself on the back. Good fucking job. The real hard part will be tomorrow. This looks like madness, right? These are all thoughts that I'm sure most of you have had. Maybe a lot of you have gone down some of these paths pretty deep and far. Let me know how far you've gotten on all this. For me personally, I feel like I've scratched the surface all my life. And I can't, seem to get very far. That ends here, today. Stick with me on this journey. See how far we can go. Leave comments. Let me know how far you've gotten in the path to your own happiness with where you're at, with the path that you've chosen. Or any of you out there that can say, I haven't reached everything, but I'm good. Let me know if you have. Give us some tips. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do everything I can to take this as far as I can. And I'll share every piece of knowledge that I find along the way with you. Until the next one, thanks for watching.